Really great.
I have done lots of
Yeah.
talk shows, lots of panel discussions. I've also um, moderated
Yeah.
panels. So, yeah, I think now with minimal preparation, I can go into any panel discussion.
So as you know, I have Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of CampusCare EdTalks. EdTalks, a platform where educators and leaders come on board and express their viewpoints related to education and society. A topic for the discussion is leadership in schools from principals to students, and to express her viewpoints on the same, we have with us Miss Radhika Srinivasan, ma'am, principal of the Sri Ram Universal School. A very warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Namaste.
It's so good to have you here, ma'am. You just mentioned you have attended 100 plus talk shows till now. How are you feeling being here on this platform, ma'am?
I think I'm very glad to be part of this, and this is a very important discussion.
Yeah,
Uh, you know, leadership discussions in schools and how to pass on that those leadership
yeah.
essentials to students. I think that's a very valid discussion. So I'm looking forward to be part of this. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So let's start off with the session, ma'am, shall we?
Sure, please.
So, ma'am, firstly, what is the benchmark for a good leadership in the schools?
Um, so, schools are of all types. Schools could be in a bustling metro like Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, Madras, or Hyderabad, and so on. Or it could be in a small town in a rural setting. Uh, the school could be a new one, it could be an old one, it could be a very well established one. So I think the leadership, the top leadership at all of these schools would have different roles and different tasks in front of them. So, for example, the Sri Ram Universal School, Palava, you know, is a young school. We're just 4 years old, so we have a lot of growth, a lot of nurturing, and a lot of care that needs to be put into this leadership role. I'm not an authority on benchmarking leadership,
Yeah.
but I'd like to share some qualities that a good leader should have. I think the first thing should be empathy, because students are coming from very diverse atmospheres, very diverse home situations, and very much the role of schools, principals, and teachers is changing. That we have to provide comfort, we have to provide solace and support to the student, not just ensure that the child studies the grade 1 curriculum and goes to grade 2, grade 3, and so on. It's very much essential that the schools are also in a nurturing role, that the schools are also providing comfort, and the child should be happy to
Yeah.
come to school. So empathy, I think, is one of the greatest qualities which a leader should have. Of course, every leader must have a strong moral compass and a good sense of professional ethics and professional integrity, which goes with the role. Because heading an institution and being at the top, a lot of people are looking up to you, so you need to walk the talk.
Yeah.
Whatever you are saying, if you expect your students to arrive in school at before the time
Yeah.
mentioned, before the reporting time, you have to follow that code as well. Being a good listener and providing feedback in a very non-judgmental and unbiased way are some of the qualities. Another thing which I strongly believe that a leader must do is nurture a second line or a third line of leadership. Not just say that I'm going to do the task and I'm going to be at the helm of affairs. Yes, you are currently, but what about 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line? Is someone being trained to take that position? So it's very important to have a shared leadership. Everyone feels invested and not just hold on to the chair or the position or the power. It's I think these are some of the qualities. Um, so I don't know about benchmarking, but the qualities, yes, I these are the qualities which I think would help any leader to become the best at where he or she is.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you so much, Radhika ma'am, for sharing. That was very brief explained by you. So moving forward, ma'am, when we talk about the qualities you just told us about a good leadership in school. So how do you encourage students to become the leaders of tomorrow?
So, again, if we are looking at nurturing leadership qualities in students, we have to give them those opportunities. So, schools always have like a student council, which is, you have the head boy, you have the head girl, you have the school captain, the vice captains, the games captains, and so on. Um, it's not just for the investiture ceremony, or it's not just for an activity, but the student council have to be made accountable. You have to give them some leadership role, some task to do. Only then they are going to feel that yes, I am accountable. So for example, taking care of the discipline during dispersal and arrival, or taking care during the lunch breaks, or when you have sending the children out on a trip, or general setting the tone of decorum and discipline in the school. The student council should be accountable for. And in my school, at the Sri Ram Universal School, the student council members are part of some very important committees, like the Child Safety Committee, the Canteen Committee, etc. Because they are the ones who are the end users and the stakeholders. And if we involve them in the planning and in the implementation phase, then they really feel that my role is I'm being very productive in my role. uh, Giving them a decision making power, asking them what would you do if a student is late to school.
Yeah.
uh, what are the suggestions to ensure that students are not late to school? What can be done? Being very democratic in your decisions and allowing them to take the decisions is how we can nurture student leadership. And of course, these leadership lessons are for life. Students remember these leadership lessons, and later on in life, they are able to execute many of their tasks easily because they have had this training in school. And I think that's a very important role. Also, exposing them to programs like the Model United Nations, or the school parliament, or the teen parliament, or mock parliaments, to be very much connected to the democratic process in the country as well, is another way that we can ensure good student leadership. At the Sriram School, we have a process of voting for our school leaders, our student council members. Students from grade 5 to 10 vote for their student leaders, so they get a sense of how the entire process of voting, counting, and results, etc., is happening at the state and the national level. So they are very intimately connected with the process. So these are some of the ways that we can encourage student
Yeah.
leadership, to make them accountable, and to give them at least some decision making powers. They should not be just a figurehead and Just I know at the functions they come and they stand in the school hall or whatever. They must have some powers and they must be given those powers.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, ma'am, lastly, this was, you were talking about, promoting, encouraging students, good leadership among students. So, how do, when we talk about a positive environment, because leadership can also be, a positive attitude can lead to a good leader. There should be a positive environment among the student in the classroom. So how do you promote positive changes in the social and school environment?
So, as I said, these programs like the Student Council or the Mock United Nations, these are, of course, school-wide programs.
Yeah.
But at a micro level, even in the classes, I think the days of punishments are out the window. We shouldn't be saying that if you've done something wrong, we make you stand outside the class, or we make you detention, and those strategies will not work. We need to work with with self realization, reflection, and the child really has to think what they can do differently. How did I react, and how should I have reacted? So we have, a lot of life skill programs. We have a program called EQ. We have Circle Time, and we discuss these during those sessions where students are free to voice their opinions about something which they find that maybe there is someone who's being bullied in the class, or someone who's not using appropriate language in the class, or someone who is not submitting assignments, or someone who's careless about books. All these things, small things, can be dealt with, within the peer group itself, and the students, they feel that if they can discuss and come to a solution, that would be much better, rather than punishing them and say, no, today you have to stay back, and today you have to you you don't have to do this, or you are going to be barred from this activity. That I don't think works. We have to be constructive in our way of approaching this. Only reflection will help, and we have to give the students tools and strategies to reflect themselves, and self-reflection, self-realization, and discussion, and coming to a consensus. Gone are the days when even with parents, uh, back in the days when I was a student and I was in school, and my parents, my father or mother would say, "No, you're not allowed to do this. That's it." There was no discussion. There was no rationalization. Why? If we ever dared to ask why, parents would say, "Because I have said so.
Yeah.
I'm a parent and I have said so." That approach doesn't work, not with parents, not with schools, not with the principal. We have to give them a logical reason.
Yeah.
We have to give them a reason why it is dangerous to do something. Why a child shouldn't be running in the corridor? Why shouldn't he be bouncing the ball inside the classroom?
Yeah.
So we have to alert them that what would be the consequences, and that self realization and reflection is what is going to make the child think that, okay, I shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Going forward, even these same things, we need to talk to teenagers about addiction. It could be addiction to substance abuse, to anything. We have to alert them to the dangers of this. Even device addiction and gadget addiction, we have to let them know that this could be a problem, and that's why we don't want you. So it doesn't mean that parents should just snatch the mobile from the child and say, now enough.
Yeah.
Explain to the child. Sit down with the child and explain that this is a serious problem. The world over, there are statistics. We don't want you falling into that rut, and that's why we want you to stay away from devices or substances or whatever. There has to be a logical reason, and I think self-reflection is key. Thank you.
Absolutely, ma'am. We should not be, just saying straight no to a child that you cannot just do it. You have to come up with, a logical explanation. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. It was, a very wonderful session with you. I hope you too
Thank
did
you.
enjoy the session. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, again for taking out your time. And for all the
Thank you.
viewers watching us out, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stuff like this. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.